Today, we're making a Japanese-style cold noodle dish that's perfect for the summer and it's extremely easy to make. You can use whatever you have in the fridge. This recipe is just a guidance in terms of how to make cold noodles. You can use whatever that's in season or in the fridge. Let's do it. So, most Japanese noodle dishes consist of something called a tare, which literally means a sauce that gives flavor to either the broth or, in this case, the cold noodles. And we're gonna do exactly the same. So, stove on, and we're gonna add some mirin to the stove. Japanese sweet wine, which would give us sweetness and a thick texture. And to hit two birds with one stone, I like to make a marinated mushroom with the tare so that the mushroom could impart some mushroomy goodness to the tare and the tare could flavor the mushroom. So today we have some enoki mushrooms. We simply trim off the muddy stems. Once the alcohol of the mirin has evaporated, we add a generous amount of soy sauce. This is the only seasoning for the noodles, so be a bit generous. Once that's in, we add our enoki mushrooms. We'll just add a dash of water to make sure everything is semi-submerged. While that's simmering away, we prepare some scallion. Now, for cold noodles, I like to use the middle of the scallion. So, very simple, we trim off the root and we simply slice them thinly. And you want a bit of the white and a bit of the green as well, just to give it a bit of freshness and color. Perfect. Now, after about 3 minutes, stove off, fish out the mushrooms. You squeeze back as much liquid as possible back to our tare. Perfect. Marinated mushroom ready. Now, to finish the tare, to counterbalance the salinity of the soy sauce, we're going to add a dash of rice vinegar. You can use whatever vinegar you have in your pantry. It doesn't really matter that much. This is just to give it some brightness and balance. Particularly, we're making a summer dish. And for the first time on this channel, a generous amount of toasted sesame oil. It works extremely well with cold noodle dishes. And by generous, I meant 10 drops. This is still very strong and can be very overpowering. Wonderful. Now, that is our tare ready. So, since we're only making one portion, straight into our serving bowl. Now we continue to cook the dish without even having to rinse the pan. So, to minimize washing, water straight into the tare pan. We're going to blanch the rest of our toppings and the noodles themselves. So, stove back on, and we prep the rest of our ingredients. So here we have some raw pickled sushi ginger. I mean, you could buy them sliced. I just had a brain fart when I was shopping. So, we simply slice them into strips. They add so much brightness and acidity to the dish. It's, for me, one of the few mandatory ingredients for cold noodle. We have some bamboo shoot, which nowadays you can buy from most Asian supermarkets, and they are incredible for ramen. And you cut them into strips so that they maintain their wonderful texture. I think that's plenty. Perfect. Now the water is almost boiling. We add our egg. I mean, if you have the time, sous vide egg, onsen tamago would go so well with this dish or any cold noodles in general. But for a recipe that's fast, I didn't want an egg that takes longer to cook than everything else combined. So soft oil would have to do, because I want the egg to become the binding agent of all the beautiful toppings and the noodles and the tare. So, while the egg is there, we blanch our other ingredients. We have some bean sprouts, which again provides wonderful texture. For me, I like to remove the beans from the bean sprouts for this recipe. Otherwise, it ruins the overall texture of the dish. Cold noodles, they should be simple. They should be easy. They should not be a burden to make. If you don't have something in your fridge, don't use it. Use something else. The moment a recipe becomes too complicated and bothersome, you'd stop making it in general. Bean sprouts in. I mean, they're wonderful raw, so all we want to do is just to wilt them slightly. We definitely still want to maintain that crunch. Literally 20 seconds, they come out. And the residual heat will continue to cook them slightly more. Perfect. Now, quickly blanch the bamboo shoots. Perfection. They come out. Again, seconds. Now, pop this up. Slightly more water. We welcome back the noodles. Today, we're using Japanese buckwheat noodles, but this works with any noodles. After about 5 minutes, we take out our egg. And while the noodles are still cooking, we prepare the last garnish. We have some sushi nori here, which once again, Asian supermarket. We're just gonna cut them into fine strips. These will eventually soften and help bind the tare onto our wonderful noodles. Again, this is one of the few mandatory ingredients in my opinion. Or you can hear that it's still crispy, so that's a good sign. Perfect. Now, check on the noodles. So, stove off. To help them remain extra bouncy, we grab a sieve and we run this under cold running water and we can plate. So, noodles straight into the tare. Very simple. Add bean sprouts. A very generous amount of scallion, wonderful bamboo shoots, our pickled sushi ginger, which would bring a lot of brightness and acidity. They're not spicy at all, by the way, so even if you don't like spicy food, give this a try. Our flavor bomb, the marinated mushrooms. Smell, this is incredible. Finally, toasted nori. Moment of truth, we have our casually boiled egg. I have no idea what to expect. We have onsen tomago-ish texture, I would say. I'm simply gonna remove the hard shells and pour it out, trying not to break it. Brilliant. And last but not least, shichime togarashi, Japanese 7 spice. You can use cayenne pepper or any chili powder you fancy. And that's it. One pot with mostly store-bought ingredients. We have texture, we have flavors, we have acidity, we have umami. It's perfect for the summer. This is Japanese style cold noodle. I really hope you enjoy.